Hi, welcome to another Derek Does. Today, we're going to talk about this. This is the Singer SLF, standing for Singer Light Fixture. This is a number 2. I'm going to just talk about the first 3, really, mostly just the number 2. But there's a Singer SLF 1, a Singer SLF 2, and a Singer SLF 3. And they basically all look like this. When you talk about the Singer SLF 4, you can see they radically designed them totally different. But basically, I think it's the same light, only it just has a full cover instead of being exposed. So I thought I'd show you kind of whenever you see an old sewing machine and you see this attached to it, you think, wow, that is really awesome. But what is it? Well, these are the lights that Singer distributed basically with every new machine from probably the 1930s all the way up until the 1950s. And then in the 60s, they started putting these on them. And then they just got uglier and uglier as they went along. But these are the ones that everyone's kind of wants. And a lot of people just get these and they'll turn them into a desk lamp, basically. People that don't know or are into industrial sewing machines. But I don't have a Singer SLF 1 anymore. I sold it. I did have it. They're very, very rare. The main thing the Singer SLF 1 did, they didn't have these vent holes here to let the heat from the light bulb escape. So I assume that they got hot over time, and that's why they put these vents in them. The SLF 3 also has these. But basically all it is, it's just a light fixture that's clamped here and has this little articulating, you can pull the cord, so it's a tube that the cord goes through, and you can adjust that, you can pull it anyway. But when you do that, you're allowed, the light is tight enough that it'll stay, but you can move it in all sorts of different positions. And if you have a position that you like a lot, you can go this way, this way. It's very good to get just the right light where you want it on whatever you're sewing. They came attached to the machine, and I'll show you a clamp, what that looks like, where it attaches to the machine and then sits like this. But they also came, if they didn't attach to the machine, because some machines you can't attach them because there's really nothing to attach it. This one's one I picked up that's going to be for restoration, and that's going to be a video coming up. I'm going to show you how I restore these. This is an original Singer setup, and it's basically the same as if it was attached. This unit would be attached to the machine, this little piece here, but instead it's attached to this base that would attach to the table, and then you can position this wherever you need it on your table. A lot of times when you find these, they kind of look, I'll show you, here's another one that I'm going to be restoring. This is kind of what they look like when you get them. They look pretty rough, and you think, wow, I don't think that's going to work. But it's all here. And I'll show you, I'll probably actually restore this one, and you'll see just the transformation that I can do to this to bring it almost back to what it looked like in a factory setting. Now this one does have a bend here, which I don't know how easy that's going to be to get out. This metal isn't exactly thick, so if I start to bend this, I may break it, but I do have a spare of these. Usually they're always, the wires are always cut. I always rewire them anyway whenever I do them. One really rare thing to have actually on these lights is the glass. The reason is people would take the glass out just because it's easier to change a bulb. The new bulbs, I haven't found a bulb that fits underneath the glass, because if I plug this one in right now to a wall outlet, if I had rewired it and plugged it in, I would blow the light bulb that's in here, because this light bulb is set for a much lower voltage, where this would actually have been wired into the motor underneath it. And the motors, a lot of these old motors actually have a section where you can wire your light into it, and it's made for a much lower voltage. Because I've had a couple of these when I first started doing this, I didn't know, and I would plug them in and the old light bulb would just blow instantly. Currently, I'm using a bigger bulb. You have to use a 2-prong bulb where it has 2 prongs here on the side. I was able to find a box of these on eBay probably, I don't know, almost 10 years ago. And there were like 200 of these in the box. So I've been fine on light bulbs. And if you look on the inside, there's actually a slot that they can go into. So basically there's only one way it goes in. It goes in and then you twist it and it's in. What you're hearing, that jiggling, is actually, there's a, and this just needs adjusted, there's a metal aluminum reflector that fits inside there to help shoot the light out. Now the difference between an SLF2 and an SLF3, where's my SLF? Here's my SLF3. If you look at them, they're very, very similar. But the main differences are, well, one, it actually says SLF3, and this one says SLF2. But if you notice, they redesigned the vents. So on the SLF2, the vents are at the top and go around, and the SLF3, they're on the side. The other thing they did, they made the sides here beefier. The actual, if you notice, the metal is much beefier on the 3 than the 2. It's the same clamp, basically, and also the switch. The SLF2 has a switch on, off, just like a light switch on your house. And the SLF3 has a knob that turns on and off this way. When you get these, it's much, much easier to rewire an SLF2 than an SLF3, solely because of the switch. The switch is just 2 wires and you're done. This one actually has a mechanism where there's this rotating piece inside there, and you have to set up the wires each way. I won't be restoring this 3 because the 3 is fine, and I actually restored this, and you can see right now I have I bought a wire cloth wire just because aesthetically it goes with the machine, and then I took off the actual plug part, because usually there'd be a hole in a table and you have to thread this down through the hole as like the originals, and then you put the actual plug prong on the back end of it. Now here you can see the clamp that fits on a lot of Singer machines. It fits actually on the lifter bolt. Holds the light fixture. And then it's just a simple flip of the switch. You can also set this up, if you plug it into your motor, it will only come on when the motor's on. Here you can see I actually have the tabletop version come out with this SLF2, because this machine on the Mero has no place to attach a light. So if you remember on a previous episode I did it on my sewing industrial manuals and parts books I have. This is the parts book I have for the light fixtures. This is for the SLF3, and it's from 1954. So obviously the SLF3 came probably in that early 50s. I don't know, I don't have the parts book for the SLF2 yet, but I'm gonna look for one. So but I was looking through this, and the neat thing that this manual has told me is Singer made light fixtures not just for Singers, but for all the manufacturers. And it actually tells you what light went with what machine. So if you have a machine that you want to get exactly back to original, this manual will tell you what you need to do. Because this manual carries the light fixtures for all the Singer machines, but it also carries them for all the Singer K machines, which are the English-made machines. It gives you the Union Special machine chart, and also the Wilcox and Gibb machine chart, and also miscellaneous machine charts. So like if I just randomly open it, here's K machines, like the 32 K1, 3, 4. It tells you the lenses, which are kind of interesting. They made lenses in three types of lenses, basically. There's a blue lens, a clear lens, and a lensless. I'm assuming lensless means it's this. It did not come with a lens. This is a clear lens. See how that's clear? But I have this one that has a chip in it, but it's blue. See how that's blue? It has a blue tint to it. This one is totally clear, and obviously these don't have a lens in them at all. So I'm assuming they recommended having a light, a certain sort of light shining down on the work that maybe is less strenuous on the eye. Maybe a blue lens does that. Maybe the clear lens does that. But here it lists all the Wilcox and Gibbs, types 10 through 27. Morgica, the flat lock machines, the overlock machines. These are all Wilcox and Gibbs. And then it gets to the Union Specials, which is kind of special because I love Union Specials. And it lists, you know, the machines from the 700, the 7200, and it lists the blue, clear, and less lens, and it gives a part number. There's a part number for each of those. And if you're really industrial nerdy, this is really cool information. They even do the 43200. Right there it is. And a Union, you know, the Union Special machine is in a Singer parts catalog listing what the number was for a blue lens, a clear lens, and a lensless. And then there's a Metropolitan Reese buttonhole. It lists what that is. These were all available. Of course, these are the complete parts. But the cool thing on the back is they have the diagrams. So this is an open diagram of the SLF3. Even lists what the light bulb should be there. And then it has, you know, that particular lens with it. That's the little jingly thing I was telling you about, that aluminum piece. But if you look here, this is the blue lens, clear lens, and lensless. But this, apparently, this light is slightly different than this light, even though they look the same. But the thing is, I noticed the wires have different part numbers. So maybe on a Wilcox and Gibb, on their motor, their voltage is slightly different. So Singer made a wire and a light bulb that could handle theirs, and it made a light bulb that could handle the Union Special, and it made a light bulb that would handle the Singer. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, it just goes on of the different models they made. And here you can see the base. Here you can see where it actually would mount, just like I showed you on my machines. So you can actually see this is the correct Singer base with the two, just like you see right there. So we know this is a 1943-94, which is kind of neat. So it just shows you, I mean, all these different varieties that they made, and all you thought about was just, you know, it's an SLF2 and an SLF3, but it wasn't. There's so many different types out there, which is, it's kind of neat. I mean, you can really dive into this if you wanted to. But I thought I'd give you kind of an update, or not an update, but a overview of what an SLF light is. If you like this sort of content, please subscribe, comment, like. So I'm going to see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed this, and see you again.